In the previous video, we have set up GitLab bidirectional mirroring. In this video, we are going to focus on the first part of how to set up Google Cloud Run container for one region. So let's get started. So as I have mentioned previously, we are using the Google Cloud Platform for this setup. So this means that we will need to use console.cloud.google.com. If you don't have a paid subscription, then you can start a free trial and you can click on the link to read more about it and get started for free. You will just need to remember at the end to delete all your resources or remove your credit card as you will be asked in the next step, and then you should be good to go. So I already went ahead with the trial and it automatically created a new project for me. Before starting with creating our Cloud Run, we are going first to enable an option called Secret Manager, as we are going to use it later on during the steps so that we can store some specific passwords. Now let's create our Cloud Run. So you can either head to the main page of the Google Cloud and then click on a navigation menu, and there we can find all the specific options that we need. In this case, we have the Cloud Run. You can also pin it if you like to, or you can even search for it in the search bar. To create a new Cloud Run, we'll need to click on Deploy Container Service. And here we are going to choose to continuously deploy from a repository. And once we click to set up with Cloud Build, we can choose the source repository, where first we will need to make sure that we are authenticated. And afterwards we can choose a specific repository. Then once we have chosen a repository, we need to make sure that we checkmark that we understand that GitHub content can be transferred to this GCP project to provide a connected service. Then we need to click on Next. And here we will need to choose the master branch. So we will need to click on the branch where you will have a second option to pick the master branch. And we have master because that's the one that we use on Umbraco Cloud. And here we need to select the build type, which in this case we have a Docker file, where if we check our GitHub repository, we can see that the name of our Docker file is called subscriber_Docker file. So I will just replace the name with that one and save. Next, we need to give a service name. The name can be anything that you wish for. However, I recommend that you add at the end of the name, for example, /EU, which is the region that you are going to set up for this Cloud Run. Remember that in the end, we are going to set up 3 Cloud Runs for 3 regions. So therefore, it's important that we add some kind of a way to distinguish between the 3 different containers. So I will call this service name, for example, cross-cloud-EU, as the first container that we'll create. It will be for Europe. So therefore the region will need to match Europe one as well. So for example, Europe West 1. Moving on, I will select the authentication to allow unauthenticated invocations. Then clicking on the drop-down for containers, volumes, networking, and security. Here I need to make sure that the container port is 8080, because if you take a look at our Docker file, we can see that it exposes the same 8080 port. Optionally, you can also change the container name. I will just leave it as it is. And then here under resources, I will change the memory to, for example, 2 gigabytes with 2 CPUs. Then under variable and secrets tab, we will need to add the environment variables, where the first one is going to be called ASP.NET Core Environment with the value of subscriber. And then we are going to reference some secrets in this case. The first one is going to be called Umbraco Storage Azure Blob Media Connection Stream with a new secret. And in this case, it's going to use the secret manager. And this is the reason why we had to enable this beforehand, where I'm going to give the same name. And then the secret value, it will need to start with blob endpoint equal, and then we need to take the rest of the value from the cloud portal. So I will head back to my project, and then under configuration, connections, blob storage connection details. Here I will need to get the shared access signature URL. and then edit here and create secret. Moving on, we are going to create one more secret for the container name of the Azure Blob Media. And we are going to create a new secret for this as well. And if you take a look at our project connection details, the container name is this one. So we'll just copy it and paste it in the value field and create secret. And lastly, I will reference one more secret for the connection string for the database. And here it's a little bit more complex, so we need to make sure that we replace the specific placeholder names with the ones from our cloud portal. So let's see what we have here. First, we will need the server name. So I will get that one and replace the placeholder text with the one from the cloud project. Moving on, we will need the database name. Then we will need the login name from the cloud project. Then the password. And create secret. And then here we can choose, for example, either the latest version or the first version. Then I will click on done. And then scrolling a little bit more down, I will change the maximum number of instances to 2. And then I will click to create the Cloud Run service. After creating the service, you may notice some build errors, and this is expected. This is due to the fact that we must grant the default service account permission to access the secret that we have just created. So in this case, we need to head back to the secrets manager. Then I will click on one of the secrets, permissions. Then I will copy the default compute service account and I will click on grant access and paste in there this default compute service account. And then I will select the role of secret manager and secret manager secret accessor and save. Then I will need to do the same for the rest of the secrets. Now let's head back to our Google Cloud Run. And here we can edit and deploy a new revision just so that we can trigger it to see if the error is gone. As expected, we still have some errors, and this is because we have still not fully connected our Cloud Run with our Umbraco Cloud project. So this was the first part of how to set up Google Cloud Run container for one region. See you in the next video.